somber Saturday morning as hundreds of thousands wake up to sheer devastation. Just take a look at this unbelievable destruction from the ferocious weather that raked through the heart of the country. Homes, schools, and businesses, entire towns all gone, flattened in a flash. This massive storm spawned more tornadoes in one day than we usually see in an entire month, all the way from the Gulf Coast to the Great Lakes.
Huge storm. You can see it right there on the map. Here's what we know right now. At least 29 people dead. 13 in Indiana, 14 in Kentucky, and 2 in Ohio. This is the second round of killer tornadoes just this week. We've got some new pictures this morning of a huge tornado bearing down on Henryville, Indiana, chewing up everything in its path.
The number of casualties expected to rise, unfortunately. We have an entire team covering this massive wave of storms. We're going to begin with our meteorologist, Ginger Z, who's in the hard-hit town of Henryville, Indiana. Good morning to you, Ginger.
Good morning, Bianna. 95 tornadoes ripped through yesterday. If those are all confirmed reports, this would be the greatest tornado day, one-day event in March for all history that we have in weather. Numbers, though, don't matter at this point. When you start talking to people, the sun coming up and the scene revealed, it is simply unbelievable.
In southern Indiana, it was a wave of vicious tornadoes.
I looked up and I just seen debris everywhere. And next thing I knew, I was like, I thought it was a dream.
Within minutes, they were gone. But this is what they left behind. Neighborhood after neighborhood flattened. Here in Henryville, Indiana, the small town almost wiped off the map. The roof was completely lifted off a local high school. Miraculously, the 400 students were spared. The powerful winds lifted this school bus and moved it straight into a local restaurant. Next door, the small town of Marysville was completely wiped away. All that's left, foundations of homes that once were.
We've seen the storm clouds coming in from up here. You could see them swirling and then debris and everything. And that's when we went in the house, and then all I could feel was the wind sucking at us.
Across the region, shell-shocked residents couldn't believe the extent of the damage.
We were told we had 11 minutes by the news channel, and within 2 seconds it came through and moved my house completely off the foundation.
There were nearly 100 twisters forming across America's midsection. We were there as the one that hit Henryville formed, eventually becoming the biggest storm in the state.
Time is 2:08. You've got to see this. Circulation. It is happening. The atmosphere is angry right now. You can see it.
Deadly twisters and lightning struck in other states, including Ohio, where this woman lost her sister trying to get to a shelter.
She got crushed. With her son, and her son was right with her, but he tried to dig him out and he couldn't do it.
So many shattered homes, devastated communities, lost lives.
Let me take you through the scene behind me. We're looking at the school, Henryville High School, where much of the damage here happened. The bus with cars crashed into it, cars upside down in front of what was the high school. And finally, if you follow me over here, you have the roof ripped off the gymnasium. Seeing this in person, I cannot tell you how wild it is to imagine that no one else was killed here in the school, so we are very fortunate for that. After something like this happens, you wake up and you wonder, is it over? And for some, it's not. Already, many wind reports near Columbia, South Carolina this morning. I want to show you a map of who is still included in the threat area. This is for the next couple of hours, really the morning and early afternoon. So you include the Carolinas, the Panhandle of Florida, Southeast Georgia. You could still see isolated tornadoes, but more importantly, hail and still damaging winds. We, of course, will have much more coverage throughout this program on what has happened here in Indiana and across the region. But for now, back to you, Dan and Bianna.
And Ginger, we're going to be talking to some people who were right where you're standing right now when that tornado hit in Henryville. Excellent reporting this morning. Thank you. And now to Western Kentucky, which has never seen anything like this. 14 people dead. The area's most lethal outbreak of tornadoes ever. Kendall Harold of our ABC affiliate WCPO rode out the storm, and she is live with us this morning in Piner, Kentucky. Kendall, good morning to you.
Good morning, Dan. The pictures and what we're seeing here in Piner, Kentucky, to put it quite frankly, devastating. 3 people in Piner alone were killed last night. Now, I spoke with an official. He tells me that as of right now, everyone's accounted for. No one is missing. But of course, as the sun is rising this morning, He says that could all change. Now, that same official tells me in his 25 years of work, he has seen nothing like this. This is the worst damage he's ever seen, and he compared it to a war zone. The tornadoes came barreling through this part of Kentucky, leaving a wake of destruction in their path, tearing roofs off homes, breaking windows, even blowing the side of this house completely off. Those who survived are considering themselves lucky.
It was inside the house, and we just figured we'd go down in the basement. We seen it on TV. And when we got to the basement, stepped out on the patio within seconds. We just barely made it into the cistern.
It is Western Kentucky's deadliest outbreak of tornadoes in the last 40 years, and the damage is everywhere. Trees and power lines toppled. Emergency crews searched through the night for survivors. The twisters were quick, but the devastation they left behind will be felt for a long time. The only thing left of this house, its front door.
Describe what you've seen or what you've heard over the past couple days.
Unreal. I mean, it's a tragedy, that's for sure.
Kentucky Governor Steve Beshear will be visiting Piner this morning to assess the damage himself. Bianna?
All right, Kendall, thank you. And further south, this same system spawned tornadoes across Alabama, hitting the same exact area where 250 people were killed nearly 1 year ago. ABC's Steve Osunsami is in Harvest, Alabama, with the latest. Good morning to you, Steve.
Good morning, Bianna. We have found two homes on this same street that were ruined by two separate tornadoes in less than a year. This one belonged to Jim and Judy Hodges. A tornado first destroyed this home in April of last year when those storms came through Alabama, and then yesterday another storm took it away. The family is devastated. They hid in a shelter. They were married here. He was born in this home, and now, like so many other families, they have to rebuild again.
Had it not been for our neighbors across the street, we would have still been in the house.
There are so many stories of survival and so many families who have lost. In Tennessee, Sheila Skaggs is planning a funeral for her mother who was killed in the storm.
My parents have known each other since they were 12 years old. And my mother passed away here, over there. This is something they built and worked all their life to have. They've always been together. And it's all gone. And nothing here matters. My dad's devastated.
It was such a heartbreaking loss to hear. The National Weather Service says that there were now at least 6 tornadoes that tore through Alabama and damaged or destroyed, Bianna, as many as 200 homes.